TSF Entertainment.
Yo, and we back here at TSF Entertainment. This time we bringing you BMF Season 3, Episode 1, Detroit versus Everybody, and got none other than the Detroiter himself, Jack of Jordans.
Yo, what's good?
What's
Or
good,
should I
bro?
say what up though?
Oh, that's right. What up, though? That's right. That's right. What up, though? What up, though? That's right. Think about the episode. Before we get into it, what would you rate the episode?
I rate the episode probably about a 7, and it's only because it moved like real fast for me. It's introducing a lot of characters. Um, I say a 7. And that's only because of the speed it went for the first episode. I feel like it's rushed a little bit.
For me, maybe like a 5.5, maybe
Mm,
6. I get what you're saying with the new characters. Like it's man, we got introduced a whole bunch of new characters on the first episode, but it was
yeah.
just like it almost felt like it ain't really season 3 because it was just like it was on, which I get it's supposed to be a continuation from the last episode of season 2, but
hmm
it was just like nothing. It was almost like it. I don't know. It was just like, but I guess it's hard to explain. But I guess once the season progresses, then like it'll start to, you know what I'm saying? It'll flow better. It was just like this episode. It was almost like it was a filler episode or something. But I guess we needed it because, like I said, we got to get the continuation from the last episode from season 2. So that was the only
Yeah.
reason why I gave it low. So a lot of people said it was good, like it was real good. So I was anticipating, and I watched it. It was like, the hell, like what y'all talking about? Because I don't see it. Like maybe I missed it, so I
This
watched it
this
again.
this episode wasn't really that good, man. And it's only because, like you said, it was a continuation of the last episode and everything, and it was just picking it up on that. And then you got like the separation of the two. So now you dealing with two totally different sceneries at this point.
Yeah,
You got to catch up with Big Meech, and you got to catch up with Southwest T.
yeah,
You got characters that's being introduced in Detroit. Then you got characters being introduced in Atlanta.
yep,
So it's a lot going on. That's why I say I think it's moving very fast
yeah,
already.
yeah. I get what you're saying. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So BMF episode 1. Detroit versus Everybody synopsis says Meech officially relocates to Atlanta in search of expanded BMF. Terry remains in Detroit to maintain the BMF enterprise and to start a new life for his family. Meech learns that the move to Atlanta will be full of pleasant and unpleasant surprises. So, the episode, as we can see, they fast forwarded. If you ever watch BMF, they did it season 1 and they did it on season 2. Last episode, I mean, not last season, the first episode, they kicked off in 2005 and they were at T House before T ended up getting locked up by the feds.
hmm
So this one, season 3, fast forwarded to 2007, Detroit, where, as we know, this is a continuation. They've already picked up T. Meech is already in jail. They pick
hmm
up T. They have their little dialogue. So if you know the real story, you know exactly what happened here. Meech tells them, to take a plea deal. Like I'm not trying to spend the rest of my life in jail. The only reason why we're here because you was running your mouth on the phone, which we all know is true. That's
hmm
literally how they got
Yeah,
caught up.
this is definitely a fact.
Yeah, Jack Jordan can give y'all that whole full detail of everything that went down, but I saw some people talking about, this is them foreshadowing what's gonna happen to him at the end, and I'm like, yo, this is based off of a true story. I get it. Some of the stuff is loosely based, but it's like we all know they get caught up. Like this has been going on since season 1.
Yeah, this part right here, there's they didn't move far from the truth at all. I mean, I think that part was like spot on. Like if you look into some of the other documentaries, you actually hear Big Meech, saying that this is what happened.
Yep.
You actually hear about people that was in the courtroom that overheard them arguing. When Meech said, "Just go ahead and just take the plea,"
Yep.
and people they heard them yelling at each other, and then they thought they had something, because they was yelling at each other, but blood always thick in the water anyway, or at least in this case.
Yep, it always is. Blood thicker than water. And if y'all don't know or y'all haven't seen the news, it has been already confirmed that Meech will be getting out early sometime next
Hmm.
year. I think he got what 32 months knocked off or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It
something
was
like that.
way too long anyway, but that's just me.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
That's just me.
So episode kicks off, continuation. As we know, Saint, which was Boom's hitman, last episode, last season, shot at Markeisha and T. Rode up on them at the red light, shot at them
Hmm.
after they warned T to stay away from Markeisha. See them here. They are in the ambulance on their way to the hospital. It doesn't look good for Markeisha. The only joint about this that confused me though was when we get here to the hospital, it's like I'm still trying to figure out how she take most of or how she get hit worse than T is what I'm still trying to figure out. Like Saint,
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Like either he's just a very very bad shot, or maybe she was just did she jump over T trying? I have no idea. I'm
I
with you.
don't get it because when you watch the last episode of last season, T covers her up like he
Hmm.
jumps on her, and I'm like he pulled up on T's side, and all he got
That's the
was hit in
thing.
the
He pulled up on
arm.
T side. Yeah, he pulled up on T side. So I don't know if it was the kickback that ended up getting Markeisha hit. Um, I don't recall exactly where she got hit at. Where did she get hit?
I don't even know. It's looked like let's go back here. It looked like she got hit. I don't know. It looked like she got hit in the stomach, chest area, as we could see
Hmm.
the EMT putting pressure on the wound or whatever. But that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, yo, how she take how she get hit more than T and it rolled up on T side. But
Yeah, that's
anyways,
crazy.
the family comes up, Lucille, Lawanda. No, is it it's Lawanda, right?
Luanda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Luanda.
Lawanda, his baby sister, and
Baby sister
Charles roll up to
Nicole.
the hospital to come see about T. T tells us what happened. Lawanda gets pissed off and was like, that's what you get, et cetera, et cetera. I was trying to figure out why T called them in the first place.
I'm trying to figure out why Luanda is even there. Like Luanda is hanging around the family more often than she ever has now, even after knowing what she know. Why Luanda is even there? Um, they T probably called because he probably just didn't want. He probably just didn't want the street start talking, right? So he probably just didn't want nobody to run up to him and saying something the next day, the next couple of days, why they in church. If we go down
Hmm.
further down the line, Lucille already said the people at church is all in her business. Like,
Yeah.
how many lives that these cats actually got because they only ninth one. So I think that's why he called. My question is, why is Lawanda still coming around the way that she's coming around? Like now you putting yourself through the dramatics and through everything else. Like, why are you here?
I think it's two reasons. I think it's one because Lucille told her last season that she needed to do everything she can to stop T from doing what he's doing. So I think
Hmm.
she's trying to, do Lucille wishes. And then secondly, I think it's also because she's pregnant with his child. So she thinks at some point in time, like that's gonna pull him back in
I can see
and
that.
they could get back together
I
or
can see
whatever.
that.
So but I had that same question when she showed up. I was like, why the hell is Wanda there? But then but it went more to like, yo, why did like who called them? But like you said, he more than likely did because of that. Uh,
Hmm.
him and his sister here, they share a hug because she's worried, and everything, especially since Meech went to Atlanta. You
Hmm.
know, he said everything's gonna be cool. So then we jump to Atlanta and we see Meech here, Meet Greeny, which is played by the character Neo. If
What's up, Detroit?
yeah, that's exactly what he said. What's up, Detroit? And if y'all remember from the last season, Monique's character, I can't remember her name, told Meech to go see Greeny, you know,
Hmm.
to do some things. So he
To
meets
hook
up with
him up,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. And they work out a deal, but of course, Green wants 15% off top, which was a little high for Misha's liking, but he ain't had no choice. They got
Tell them all you
everything worked
got.
out. Yeah, you all you got. Got the little move some stuff through the liquor store or whatever. That's all they got. So, they come to a deal. Before they head over to the club, of course, Meech gets a call from none other than Hoop and Roland, letting him know the situation that happened with T and Markeisha. Um, them getting shot at. Markeisha get hit real bad. And basically, we can already see this is, I don't want to say foreshadowing because we kind of already know that T is going to be questioned a lot this season, but we can already
Hmm.
see from Hoop and Rolling, they already questioning T, like his moves already because he on the warpath right now to try to go
And
back and unalive Saint for shooting at him.
and I think like Big Meech hit it on the head because when the situation was different, the situation on the foot, the shoe was on the other foot. T was telling Big Meech to chill, relax. We
Hmm.
gotta handle this a different way. Don't react off of emotions. And now T is in that same seat. And the
That same predicament.
first thing he want to do is react off emotions instead of thinking it out.
Yeah. So, and plus, we all when we get to that scene, I'll speak more on it. But
Yeah.
T and Meech, they go back and
T always
forth.
got questioned anyway though, like even
Yeah,
before this scene.
that
Even
that's true.
before
He
this.
he
Yeah.
definitely did.
Yeah.
So they go back and forth, had a little dialogue. Meech tries to be the voice of reason, tell him chill out, think logically, whatnot. T tells Boom and Roland, this is what's going to be done, and if y'all question me, y'all can go to Atlanta
Gotta go
with
to
Meech
Atlanta.
and roll with him. So we see there's going to be some tension this season in T's crew.
Hmm.
Rest of the season just off of this off the jump. T is back here with Green. I forgot the name of this club. It's not
I can't
Magic
remember the
City.
name of either. It
Yeah, I
ain't
can't
Magic
remember the
City.
name.
It's Perfect Picture or something.
Yeah, I
I
forgot
can
what it's
remember.
called.
Yeah.
So, see
It was
here,
one of my favorite scenes though.
yeah, it was because it was hilarious.
Yeah.
He shows him, the new club, the exoticness, all this other stuff. Tells him about the basketball players, how he makes things there. While we're at it, we meet a new character named Duffy, who is from Detroit and is also cool with, I guess he is either related or I don't think he's related. I think he's more so cool with Sterl because he ended up
Hmm.
bringing Sterl's name up later in the episode. So we meet new character Duffy here, who is from Detroit, to link up with Meech. We also meet three new characters, which we got Rip, we got Stacks played by Two Chain, and the other guy to the left of him is Diesel, who is
Diesel. Yep.
another guy
From
from
Detroit.
Detroit. I think Rip
So
is as well.
I've written from Detroit too. The only one that's not from Detroit is Stacks.
Yeah, Stacks is the only one because he said born and raised.
He from Atlanta.
Yeah,
Oddly enough.
yeah. So we see automatically off the jump, Stacks is not feeling Meech at all. He already got some animosity towards Meech, and I think it's because of the unaliving of Ty
Ty
Washington.
Washington. Yeah.
Um, which Stack's character is the uncle to Ty Washington's wife, Deanna. As he said, I did take care of my niece. Ever since Ty Washington, got unalive. So he already ain't feeling Meech. Like you say, he an outsider. Apparently, Ty Washington ain't never mentioned Meech to him before, and I think he just feels some kind of way, that Ty Washington got unalive from rolling with Meech.
Yeah.
While they there, Stacks ends up seeing Remy Ransom, who is the one who unalived Ty Washington last season. So they just go right at it, get things kicked
Hmm.
off. Meech, it was crazy when I saw Meech. I was like, yo, that's infamous. Like that's the first thing folks pick up in the club is a bottle. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, damn. I'm like, as soon as the dude had the upper hand on him, the first thing he went to do, grab the bottle, bust it over his head.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
um, he ends up, they end up getting into this little brawl and everything. I thought they were gonna show like some more in this scene than just besides the brawl, like how it broke up, like maybe Green come back, Green to come back out saying some things or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, but we never saw it. We see them back here, which I'm going to assume this is Duffy's crib. They're here in the studio. They basically say everything got, they handle it. With Remy Ransom, they
Before you go forward, I think that scene, like prior to that, I think that scene was just to show like solidarity and Meech just saying, I'm here, so
mhm,
we go all get it rocking together, so they definitely could have showed us a little bit more, but I think the purpose of that scene was just to all show just to show solidarity that that he was here, I'm here with the team, I'm here ready to work and get this money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't even think of it that way,
Mm-hmm.
at all. But yeah, like you said, they back here, which I think is Duffy's crib because of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
How they all held it down, but of course, once again, Stacks is still not feeling him. Told him straight up, like I ain't rocking with you. Meech tell him like I'm not coming here to try to replace Ty. I'm just trying to all of us to get bread. But Stacks ain't with it, so him and two of his people that they never introduced, they roll out while Rip and Diesel stay behind. So here we see Markeisha is in the hospital, still dealing from her gunshot wound. And T visits her. She ends up waking up. You know, they tell each other they love you. T tells her that he is going to handle Saint for trying to take them out. And she's basically like just telling them this was the second voice of reason. She told him straight up, like, nah, like leave it alone. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, I don't want to see you end up getting hurt or you end up in jail or whatever behind this foolishness. But of course,
Yeah.
T still ain't listening. Um, like Meech called him, tender, you know what? Like he basically said again, that's exactly what he thinking with right now. His nose is wide open for Markeisha, so he don't
That
care at
ain't T
all.
Roll though. You know what I'm saying? Like even from the beginning, that was never really T Roll. You go back from the first episode when he pulled the gun out, you still could tell that that wasn't even his, his role. You could tell
Yeah,
like, nah, this ain't your position. Stand down. And
yeah,
that's why the result of taking care of the business it was handled the way it got handled. Because nah, T, what you doing? You wilding? Chill.
yeah. You count the money and you figure out the ways we move the money.
Exactly
That's
the way we're gonna, yeah, that's what you do. Like this extra stuff that you do, you got, and then why would you want to do that anyway? You at the top of you at the top of the top. I get what he said. Like, nah, I don't want nobody to think, I'm kitty cat around here, but
yeah,
you the boss.
yeah, yeah. I
You
got that
delegate
too.
that.
Yeah, I got where T was coming from, but like, yeah, just like you said, you delegate that. You the boss.
Yeah, yeah, you the boss.
You the boss. So we got Remy Ransom here along with Claude, and they are also speaking out the fight that happened at the club with Meech and his squad. While they're there, they end up grabbing some bags to take outside to the kids. Now, my question I was trying to figure out was what was in the bags. Now, was it drugs or was it something else?
I'm thinking it was something else, that it was probably like some lunch or something, because the Red Dogs pulled up and they didn't take their bags. So I
That's
felt as
right.
though that they would have. I felt as though that they would have took their bags. And the crazy thing is, I remember hearing like a task force. I'm not actually sure if it was called Red Dogs,
It
a
was.
task force. Oh, so that was legit. Of
That's legit.
trying to get you know the people who was doing drugs and stuff like that out
Hmm.
of Atlanta, so they could host the Olympics. I do recall that for sure, for sure.
Yep. So if that's the case, the Olympics happened in Atlanta in '96.
Hmm. So
So
this was what, 92, I think. Would they oh,
it got to be early. I almost feel like,
well, it
yeah,
might have
it's
been
got to.
earlier than that, because they had to put a bid in for it, because 92 was Barcelona. So they had to put a bid in for it, and they were still bidding for it. So it might have been a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah,
So
it might
it,
be it.
it
So
might have
yeah,
been 91, 90.
Yeah. Okay. So we somewhere. Yeah. Because I've been trying to figure out the year timeline for this. I know it's set in the early '90s, but I couldn't figure out exactly when.
Yeah, because you got to put your bid in prior to the 4 years. So I'm thinking it's probably like 91, 90, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Somewhere around that.
Mm-hmm.
So as we can see, the Red Dogs pull up on them and beat the living crap out of them. And I didn't think we were going to get introduced to the Red Dogs so early in the season. If you watched our predictions video, we spoke about the Red Dogs. If you're not aware with the Red Dogs, you might want to look them up. Short synopsis on them was like they said they were supposed to get rid of every drug dealer in Atlanta so they could host the Olympics, and they were known for their brutal tactics. Basically, they was just straight up police brutality squad, as you saw in the episode, and that's
Mm-hmm.
literally what they were known for, to get all of the drug dealers and all the drugs out of the city of Atlanta so that they can host the Olympics. I forget what year. I think it was 2001, maybe '02. But the Red Dogs are no longer. They got disbanded for that reason, for the numerous amount of complaints of the police brutality that they got. So here in this scene, we got our man Raw Dog
My man
Charles
Charles.
here. Got our man. It's crazy how that's became his nickname. I've been seeing that nickname everywhere. It's been cracking me up. Raw Dog Charles here with Lucille.
Oh
They in the
man.
bathroom here, and Lucille basically goes ahead and tells him that she wants to finalize the proceedings with the divorce. Charles still thinks they can work it out, but I, it's done. It's done
Yeah,
with
not
that.
Raw Dog Charles. Not
Yeah,
Charles. Nah, Raw Dog
like
Charles, you out of here. You done for. You cooked.
yeah, like you. It killed me in this thing because I'm like, bro, you just come up on it. I was like, you really think after all this stuff, especially the scene with she found the hotel receipt, you think y'all I'm gonna just not?
Bro, here's the thing though. It ain't even. It was super messy. Like, come on now, you dealing with like it was crazy messy, right? So not it's floating around in the church and stuff like that because everybody knows everybody. It was crazy messy. That's some things is just come on now, Rodell Charles,
Yeah.
come on, what we doing?
So here we have
Poor
Detective
little Kevin,
Bryant's son. Here we have
that kid
Kevin
done for.
who is sitting in a holding cell. He's still doing his comics and everything, doing his superheroes and whatnot.
That kid
And
cooked.
Detective Bryant, of course, tells him, basically, we're gonna do everything to get you out. I promise that. We're gonna
Hmm.
make sure take care of it, try to get you off or whatnot, which I'll save that for a prediction. I was gonna say what I think is gonna happen with this whole scenario, but since we only in the first episode of this season, I'll wait for that. While he's at it, he ends up going upstairs, and of course, Jen is not rocking with him because of his tactics. He got kicked off. I'm sorry, she got kicked off of the task force. Now, I'm confused because in the same scene, he's suspended, but I'm like the way he was packing up was like I would think in this scenario, in this situation, he would have got fired.
I think he's suspended pending. They got to do their due diligence and suspended, pending investigation. I think overall, I mean, we know how it goes because we kind of see further down the line that he eventually gets his position back, his title back. For whatever reason, they're gonna have to explain that to me, and they gotta explain that in like grave detail because I need to know. You know what I'm saying? I need to know. We got questions. We got detective. We got Detective Bryant. We know about you, doggy. And with
Yep,
great words of Cameron, we know about you, doggy. Don't be. We coming back. But
exactly.
yeah, I think they're just pending. I think it's all just pending investigation.
Okay, yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah, because
So
we know he got his job back.
yeah. So here we get introduced to another new character. This whole episode is that, and I see why you said it so fast. Another new
Hmm.
character. Like they didn't even gradually bring them in. They just
All
bringing
these
them
new characters.
all these new characters in one episode. Got
Hmm.
Detective Kobe Amberson here, who we found out is related to a councilman And Jen is not feeling her because she thinks automatically because she's related to the councilman, she got her job from nepotism. And
Mm-hmm.
Amberson is basically telling her that's not the reason why I'm here. That's not how I got here, whatnot. So we know she's going to be out to prove that she is not here due to nepotism and she can actually do her job. I don't even remember this character's name. I remember him from last season, but I can't remember his name. Rose up on Amberson and
The cornball.
Jen, and tells them that Markeisha got shot last night, so they should follow up that lead on Markeisha and see exactly what happened, and maybe they could get some type of info on T or in general on exactly what ended up happening. So we got T here back at the record store, and he's basically pulling up on them, telling them, what's going down, to put out the word to go find Saint so that he could unalive him. During this time, T apologizes to Hoop. Yeah, apologizes to Hoop for talking to him the way that he did. And Hoop tells him that Meech is calling already because he wants the other half of his bricks to bring down to Atlanta. Uh, T go ahead, sends them down to Atlanta to move the bricks down there so they could get things moving. At the same time, T tells his crew to get back out on the street, get things moving back out there. And then he talks to what's his name again? Sterl, and
Mm-hmm.
ask him, have they have any leads or anything on him? I mean, on Saint to find out where he at, and basically tell Sterl like, let me know because I'm going to be the one to pull the trigger. I'm going to be the one to unalive him. So here we see again, this is what the third person we see kind of questioning T motives and T moves. So
But here's my question though, because when I look at him though, I see he still had on the Puritan Ave chain versus the BMF chain. But then again, is Big Meech and T the only ones that have BMF chains at this moment? Because I know they pop up everywhere later on.
you
Maybe
know
they the only
what?
ones that have it on because I just know but I noticed because he was a Puritan Ave boy. So I'm like, wait, I thought they all kind of like combined because you had the 12th Street, you had 50 Boys, you had Puritan Ave boys, and I thought they all combined to be BMF.
They
But
did,
that was
but
just a
you know
little
what?
small little thing a little small little nugget
You
that I
know what?
noticed.
Until you said that, I didn't even peep that they don't. I'm trying to. I ain't even peeped that. I think you're right. I think they the only two who actually have BMF chains. I don't think nobody else has
That's a little weird
BMF
to me
chains
too, but we'll figure it out later.
because I think Coop just has on a rope. He just got on,
Yeah,
a big rope chain.
maybe it's one of those things that's earned, like the Rockefeller chain or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's one of those things that's
I'm
earned.
trying to think. Did B Mickey have one last season? I don't think he did.
I think Big Mickey had one though. I gotta go back and look, but I think Big
Yeah,
Mickey had one.
I gotta go. I gotta go back and look. I can't remember myself. So, of course, we go back to Atlanta here. We got Meech, Duffy, and Rip. Rip is in the studio laying down some bars. Of course, we all know at some point, Meech does get into the music game. So I'm guessing here, this is where he, I guess we're getting that introduction for either later on down the season or even season 4. This is the introduction that we're going to get for him to start his BMF label. Meech likes what he
I think
hears,
so.
says that Rip is a dope artist and that he needs to work on his craft more instead of being out in the streets because he got great talent. So we
Hmm.
can see here Meech already trying to help somebody out and trying to get him out the streets and whatnot. So I don't care what people say about Meech. If this is, I know, like I said, I know this show is like it is some truth on it, and then there's some of the stuff they exaggerated for TV. But I'm like, if this was how Meech was in real life, you could tell like Meech
You
was a
know what?
caring dude.
From what I heard, um, around that time, we talking 2007. I was at that point. I was at a high school for about. I was out of high school for like 6 years, so I did hear like possible rumors or whatever. But they were saying that he was putting people in school and like he was like paying people houses off and putting them in positions to get money. Like he was doing a lot of stuff. He wasn't the type of person that. he wasn't the normal. He wasn't a normal drug dealer, is what they said. Well, what they were saying. Normal drug dealers, let me move everybody out of my way as much as
Hmm.
possible. Meech was like, nah, we could all get this money at the same time. We just need to be in the right position so we can all eat. And that's just the way that he, from what I know, or from what people were saying, that the way he was always moving, always trying to make people better.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that 100%. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that ain't your average. So I definitely, you know what I'm saying. I know what he did. He moved weight out there.
yeah.
At that point,
He was
everybody was
trying to
doing
make
it
sure
right.
everybody was good, though.
Yeah,
Like everybody was good. You rap. Let me put you in the position, you know, to do
exactly.
this.
Like,
He try to make sure everybody is good.
yeah, you can't falter with that. So
Yeah.
we see here Sterl is on the phone with none other than Meech, and he tells Meech, the whole thing that T is not letting up on Saint. He said he's gonna be the one to pull the trigger. He wants to be the one that unalives him. And Meech says here that ain't T. He ain't built for that.
Mhm.
Like, nah, like if you find him, y'all go ahead, have somebody from your squad, go ahead, take him out. Whatever.
Mhm.
T ain't built for that. T can't handle that. That's not what he does. I'm pretty much the enforcer, and that's what y'all do. So go ahead and handle that for me. As we can see, Meech is still looking out for his brother, although he's in
Mhm.
Atlanta. So I think, like I said, even here in this phone call, it seemed like, Sterl was like, yeah, like this who we need. I don't I'm thinking maybe at some point, I'm thinking maybe Sterl goes to Atlanta because he ain't like the way T moving, but I'm not sure just yet. But like I said,
From
it
what I
could
get from T is he moved a lot off his emotions.
yeah, yeah. He moving off
You
his motion.
know?
Like I said, this the first episode we can already see this. Like I said earlier, this is the third person that's already questioning T moves. So I
Yeah.
won't be surprised if he don't. So here we have Lucille, who's coming home from work, and she's
The
talking to
old
none of.
school Wendy's outfit.
I know, right? I saw that. I was like, dang. I was like, I ain't seen that in years.
The old
Um,
school Wendy's joint.
talking to none other than Charles, and she's telling Charles, like, our business is all out in the streets. Everybody's coming up to me again, talking about how my son almost got unalived. They know all of our business, saying that he's lucky. I can't even go to church no more because they talk about us there. I want to just, leave and go to a different church altogether. And in my head, I'm thinking like, well, what else do you expect when both of your sons are two of the biggest known drug dealers out there in the city? So what you
Hmm.
expect? Like you working at Wendy's, Charles, I forgot, I think he was working at a plant or something.
GM.
Meanwhile, both of your sons, you got one driving around in the Benz with gold rims, and you got another one driving around in a Lexus. So it's like with these big chains on, I'm like, what you expect? Of course, everybody gonna know your business. Like
Yeah.
they not quiet about it. Like
At all.
everybody know who your sons is, so of course they know. So while they're having that discussion, excuse me, Roland pulls up with some flowers and some food and steaks and whatnot.
Which is
Um,
crazy.
which I could tell right there, as we can see, Charles wasn't
Charles
feeling
was,
that
yo,
at
he
all.
was annoyed.
Yeah. I think it was to me, I think he more so got annoyed when Lucille gave him a hug. And it also seemed like at the same time, like Roland was seemed like he was kind of flirting with her a little bit or something. And I
Hmm.
think that's why he put him in a headlock and took back the key. Because Roland was saying, I'm just doing what Meech told me to do. I'm coming, make sure you're eating good, make sure everything is good and whatnot. Because I was trying to figure, I was like, yo, bro, why would you take offense to that? If, what I'm saying, he just looking out for. But I think that's what it was when that hug. I think he was like, nah, bro, I'm not having this in my
it,
house.
I think it was a couple of things, man. He already didn't want Meech kind of involved. Like Meech became the head of his household.
Yep.
Like last episode when the mortgage was behind and he paid the mortgage, and all types of stuff. So Meech became the head of the household, and they kind of moved Charles out the way, kind of, So he didn't like that at all. It kind of was offensive to his manhood, kind of, like my son is running things in this house. and whatever. But Meech pay all the bills. Meech make sure they eat good. He takes care of everything. Charles is helpless. I think at this point, this is more of a blow to his manhood. He feels emasculated at this point.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think it was a
matter of fact.
combination of a few things.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. So here, Meech got his bricks. He's meeting with Stacks, as what you can see is that Stack still not feeling Meech at all, but he's willing to work with him.
For that
Meech gives
price,
him a low ball. I mean, not a low ball, but a lower price on the bricks, and he does it on purpose to see if Stacks is loyal and if he's gonna or if he's gonna run out in the streets and reveal the information of how much he paid to get his bricks or whatnot, which I think was smart because since they already don't have, you know what I'm saying, they already not on a cool relationship. That I think
hmm
that was smart on his part because he like, if I got to take him out or if there's somebody who might stab me in the back, I need to know up front. So it
I
was
think
real
Stacks will
smart.
be solid. I think Stacks will be real solid, man. I
Yeah,
just think he just wanted to see where Meech was coming from, and
yeah,
by Meech, as the new phrase goes, stand on business and always have stand on business.
hmm
He's about his money. He just can't feel Meech out. He just popped up out of nowhere. I think Stacks
yeah.
is going to be. I think Stacks is gonna be that guy. To be honest, I think Two Chains Stacks. I think he's going to be that that guy. Sadly enough, I don't think he's gonna make it to next season, but I think he's gonna be that guy.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that same thing. We'll have to see as the season progresses, but yeah, I think eventually at some point he gonna realize like Meech a real dude. He real
hmm
solid, hunted, and all that other stuff. He just got his reservations up right now because
Right.
the
But
whole
he
thing.
should.
Yeah, which you should because
Yeah.
what I'm saying with Ty Washington. He was working for Ty, and now Ty gone. Messing around with Meech and whatnot. So I get it. Meech tells Duffy, basically what he did and whatnot. Um, you know, selling him lower to see if he gonna run his mouth on the streets. So here, Marquisha is in the hospital. This I got to say, this to me, this was like the best scene of the whole episode because it
It
was crazy.
was.
It was crazy only because of one part, and then which I was not
Hey,
expecting. I was like, "Yo, what?" It came out of
hey,
nowhere. I was,
here's the crazy thing is that I was like, okay, Markeisha, I see you. Okay, it was kind of one of them. I hate Markeisha. Okay, we
yeah,
down for the ride. All right.
yeah. I was like, "Wow, that joint caught me way off guard." I started laughing so
Yeah,
hard when she said it, and I was like,
yeah.
I said, "Wow." I was thinking like, "Yo, was they really talking like this back in the day?" Like,
They probably was.
but either way, it was still hilarious. Detective Amberson and Jen are trying to get information out of Markeisha about her shooting, who it was, whatnot. Amberson brings up the question, which I'm not going to repeat, of
hmm
her covering for T. And of course, she covers for T. She's a rider. She's not giving them any information. And she kicks them out of her hospital room.
Well, I still look
Here,
good.
so here, oh man, Dice. So here we got Dice. Dice was not a new character. Um, he's a character from last season. He was the one
You
who
see
met
the
up with.
Carl Canat jacket though? The Carl Canat pullover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what I wanted, but it was so quick, and I think that's him, but I'm not sure because I know at some point they had. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. They had some dealings with White Boy Rick at one time, right?
They did.
So this scene is weird. If you watch this scene right here, when Dice first gets out the car, there's a white guy that gets out with him.
hmm
And then Meech and Duffy hand him the bags or whatnot. And but when Dice is going back to the car, dude not there no more. And he not in the passenger seat. So I'm thinking maybe it was the editing, but I was wondering if that was White Boy Rick that was with Dice.
I don't know, cause I mean, maybe they just had because when they show White Boy Rick in the beginning seasons, it was Eminem. So I'm not really sure if I don't know. I gotta go back and check it out.
Okay, yeah, yeah. When you watch this scene when Dice, like I said, as soon as Dice get out the car, it's a white guy that gets out of the passenger seat, or he comes from back from behind the trunk. But after Dice gets these bags from Duffy, and Meech, like dude disappeared. Like he not even in the scene. He not in the back seat, passenger seat, none of that. So that was hella weird to me. But in this scene right here, though, Dice basically tells Meech and Duffy that we get a background story on Remy Ransom and why the way he is. Found out that Remy Ransom's brother got unalive. Somebody kidnapped him, left him in the woods. So basically, he is the after that changed him into the Robin Hood of Atlanta. So that's why he's so tight knit with the kids in Techwood Homes. Um, Dice says that he walks them to school, pays people rents, make sure that everybody's held down. So although Remy Ransom, is the villain for Meech, at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, like he kind of like Meech. He a good dude. Like he
He's
trying.
yeah, he's like Meech, but he's territorial.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what it is. Because Meech would have been like, well, we all can get this money together. Remy Ransom is like, nah, I'm gonna take care of my people. You stepping on my toes, you gotta go,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. So I'm wondering at some point maybe they do, maybe him and Meech finally do come to an understanding. Maybe at some point they join up to take out the MKs or whatnot.
I could see that because MK's gotta go.
Yeah, he said
MK's
that
gotta go.
automatically.
Yeah,
So
they gotta go. They wild.
we got T and Hoop here. They are counting money in the record store, counting up all the bread that they got for moving their bricks. After their conversation, Star rolls in and tells T that Saint has already been handled, which makes T upset. As T said, that was supposed to be me. I was supposed to be the one to take him out, but Sterl basically tells him straight up, like, yo, you're not supposed to get your hands dirty. You a boss. Like,
Exactly.
let somebody else handle it.
You gotta delegate that.
Yeah, you got to delegate that. T still feels some kind of way because he knows it was Meech's calling. So I
Hmm.
think here also he's probably going to have, I don't want to say a close eye, but he's also going to, be watching Sterl now since he took the order from Meech and not from him. You supposed to be on my, you and my crew in Detroit, and you still taking orders from
Orders from
Meech
Meech in
or
Atlanta.
whatnot.
Yeah,
So I think he
ain't
still
cool.
dapped him up, thanked him, but I think
Yeah,
I think he at some point he gonna be watching him like, yo, like y'all still taking orders from Meech.
this is what I think. I don't want to move too far down the line. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I know. It's hard not to move. It's hard not to
Yeah,
move down the line only because like we know like the real story
yeah.
of BMF. So it's like it's hard not to, but it's like but at the same time we got to because since some of the stuff is loosely based, got to see how they flip it. So here we got Meech and Duffy waiting on Rip to come back with a bag, which I guess he unloaded the work that he had while they're sitting there waiting. Remy Ransom boys roll up on them, try to take them out, start blasting off at the car. Then at the same time, the MKs, which is a new group this season as well, that's going to be a villain for Meech. They come up choppers off the gate.
Yeah, they got choppers.
They just come out with choppers off the gate. They take out people from Remy Ransom's crew and try to take out Meech, Duffy, and Rip. The only part I didn't understand about this was I was like, okay, y'all defending yourselves, y'all shooting back, but when they was reloading, I was thinking like, yo, this y'all perfect time to shoot back.
Hmm.
They didn't. I was sitting there. I was like, "Yo, you could hear them. You heard the clips drop. You could hear them reloading." I was like, "That was the
Hmm.
perfect time. Like y'all should have went on ahead and start hitting back, but they didn't." This joint was far fetched for me. This was like some Tom Cruise Mission Impossible
This was some Tom
type
Cruise.
scene right here. Because I was like, bruh, I was like, I know them Cadillacs are built like tanks, but I'm like, bruh, both of these dudes got choppers and they is firing off. Like, ain't no way in the world, like you just
Nobody got hit.
yeah. I'm like, ain't none of you know what I'm saying? Like that joint still moving and he just
Got flat tires,
yeah,
something.
that's what I thought was gonna happen at some point was like a flat tire or something like that.
Hmm.
And he put it in reverse and he opened up the door to grab the bag.
This
And
probably one of those things that actually happened, but not happened the way that they showed it
yeah,
to happen.
yeah, probably
Yeah.
did. I did want to know what happened to Rip though. Like y'all take him to the hospital, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
what's the status? But I'm assuming that he takes him to the hospital. So here we back in the studio. We got Duff, um, Stacks, and Diesel, along with Meech, celebrating the whole thing. I guess for them moving all the work that they had that Meech brought down there, so they all celebrating. As you can see in this scene, still Stacks is still on guard. Like he ain't really wasn't celebrating like the other two. Like he was giving him a look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I still ain't trying to hear what you talking. Like I still
He's
don't
like,
trust
yeah, I still don't know. I
you. Yeah,
don't
I
know.
still don't know. I still don't, you know what I'm saying? Even his clap was fake. He gave one of these little small, like little whatchamacallit type claps or whatever. So
Yeah.
it was just like, you know what I'm saying? So he's still on edge a little bit about this whole thing, but they end up celebrating, you know, that everything's going on. Claw pulls up on Remy Ransom and tells him that the MKs took out their boys, um, you know, while they was rolling up on Meech, and at the same time, Meech is stepping on his territory, and of course, you know, Remy
He got eyes
Ransom
on him.
yeah. And Claude says, you know, got eyes on him, and Remy Ransom lets him know, like, don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of them one way or another. Like they gonna get there. So in the scene here, we got Kevin that is now being moved to a juvenile center. Of course, Kevin is scared to death. You know, Detective Bryant tells him straight up, like, "Hey, give me this, give me this coloring book, give me these comments. I mean, comics. You know, when you go in there, stay to yourself. Don't say this. Don't do that. Don't take nothing from nobody. Don't take no gifts. Don't even talk. Just go in there
Cry in the
and
shower.
yeah, don't cry in the shower. That's all. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
dog. Like,
yeah. He said he gave him the rundown because he already know what time it is.
yeah,
That's
he
why
basically,
I don't think he gonna make it.
yeah. I Oh, and I want to say why, but I'm not going to reveal it yet. It's only because of a picture of a scene that I've saw already. So I don't want to do any spoilers. We'll get to it, but like Jack said, I kind of think like, yeah, bro, he ain't gonna make it.
He ain't gonna make
But
it. He ain't built for it.
once again, Detective Brian tells him like, I got you. I'm gonna make sure you know I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure to get you out, get you off for this whole gun charge, everything along with this whole unaliving of, you know, of his bully. Um, in the scene, of course, we got Markeisha, who is now, I guess, fully somewhat recovered in the hospital. T comes with the oh, dang, hold on. T comes with some flowers. You know, he basically tells her, you know, Saint is gone, done handled it, etc. Whatever. Now, here was another great scene in this whole episode. I got some questions about this too. But so T rolls up with Markeisha to his parents' crib. It was hilarious what Charles says, like what Charles said. Because he and it was crazy because when Charles said it, I swear on everything. That's what I was thinking in my head when he said it. Like, boy, I know you did. Like, really? Like,
Like you got your nerves, bro.
I was thinking T, like, yo, really? Of all the places, I was like, you bring her to your folks' crib.
Why would you do that?
So they all sitting down there having a family dinner, about to eat the steaks and everything that Meech purchased. Luanda goes off on T for bringing Markeisha to the crib. Luanda says, you know, I wish you didn't make it, that you know, you got unalived and everything. And T, like, look at her face. Like, even Markeisha told him again, T, don't listen. She told him straight up, it wasn't a good idea. She told him
Man,
that.
I think I'm almost like when I saw this, I was like, man, I think Lamont don't live here at this point. Because now you over here eating dinner. Like I get oh the grandparents and everything, but you know what?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then I was trying, and at first I was thinking like, yo, you know what? Lawanda got every right to be mad. But then I thought about it. I forgot last season she left him. She
She did
left T and took the baby and went to stay with her cousins or something like that in
to
Pennsylvania for like
to
some
try
money.
to get T up out of the game.
Yeah,
But here's my thing. I'm not saying what T did was right, but at this point, it's this is kind of self inflicted.
yeah. This right, bro. This right here. I was like, yo, of all
He
the
shouldn't have bought her
places
there, but this is kind of self
there.
inflicted. You don't know when she gonna pop up. You don't know when either one of them gonna pop up. You should just had this. You should have had Markeisha over here, and then when the coast is clear, you bring Markeisha around, or whatever. Especially since you're pregnant with with your kid. But
Exactly.
T is clearly messy.
Yeah, T is clearly messy. So
He's clearly
T
messy.
T asked his mom, Miss Lucille, she needs somewhere safe to stay. Can she stay here? Whatnot for the time being, till he get on his feet. And they have a conversation with T. T doesn't like the conversation and basically tells Charles and Lucille that he is moving out. Now,
I'm out.
here's what I didn't understand, and then we'll jump back to you, Jack. What I didn't understand about this whole joint was, first off, I'm like, yo, I don't know why you thought your folks' house was safe. Number one, when dang, I can't. It's crazy. I can't even remember his name now from last
Lamar.
season. Yeah, when Lamar showed up at your folks' doorstep. Number one. Number two, everybody knows in the city where your folks stay at. Then three, I'm like, bruh, you got this huge BMF chain on. You driving around in a Benz with gold wheels. You talking about you just put down some money on a new house, and at
Big
no
ass
point
house,
in
as he said.
big ass house. So I'm thinking like, bruh, you got all this bread, and it didn't hit you to be like, yo, let's go to like a hotel, or let me get like an
I ain't
apartment or
even think about
condo or
that.
something.
I ain't even think about that. I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I didn't even think about that. But I think they setting this up for something else, though. For sure, for sure. I think they setting this up for something with Lawanda and Marquisha is going to end up being something. They gotta be, because why we had two run-ins with them in the same episode. They setting this up for something else.
Yeah. DJ, as a matter of fact, you're probably right. I don't know if it's gonna be where maybe they fight or something like that, but I was
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna
bro,
be something.
you got all this bread, and I didn't even understand it. That's why when he said I'm moving out, and I was like, bro, why was you still living there in the first place? Like,
That's the part I didn't understand.
I was
You
like,
moving out.
even though Meech got thrown out, Meech had his own crib. I'm like, bro, y'all making all this bread, and you're still at the crib. Like, that's that
But
whole scene.
maybe because he was young, like you still talking about fresh out of high school, young. Big Meech dropped out of high school, but T was still, kind of in high school, doing his thing. So maybe he still had that young mentality, but now he got to the point where he got this grown woman. Now he's thinking, like, all right, I'm grown. Let me go home. Let me lead the nest. He probably feels as though he really didn't have to, because even though he was getting all that bread, his mentality was still fresh
Yeah.
out of high school.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You know what? I didn't even think about that's right. I forgot because I forgot that she is older than T. She's like
A lot
grown. Like
older.
I think she's like
Yeah.
what, 25, 26 or something like that.
Yeah, like
He
a
just
lot
what,
older.
18, 19, something like
Yeah,
that, or
yeah.
whatever. So I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right on that. So we got Detective Brian who is sitting outside of the Juby Center drinking. I guess basically he gonna sleep out there just to make which I was just like, I don't know, ain't nothing you could really do for
There's
Kevin
nothing he
sleeping
can
out,
do.
but I guess
Nothing.
maybe he wanted to be out there just in case something happened. He was close by. Um, puts the little cigarette through the. I think that was T. Yeah, that was T picture.
Yeah, that was
You know what I'm
T, the
saying?
Polaroid.
Yeah, the Polaroid throws it out the window, whatnot. Detective Jen and Emerson, they roll up and find Saint unalive. They find his body already unalived in his bed, I don't know.
I got
I'm
some
assuming
question
that's his
marks
bed
about this.
or whatnot. During this time, she sends Amberson out and she looks under the bed and ends up finding two bricks that she ends up putting in her jacket. Now, I same question. When I saw it, I was like, okay, what the hell she doing with this? So
Yeah.
then I sat there and I was like, that ain't make sense. So then when I watched it again, I was like, you know what? I'm thinking because I'm thinking like the way they shot it, I'm thinking I bet you they probably gonna make it seem like she's a dirty cop. But I'm thinking one or two things. I'm thinking either
Shit, we're thinking the same thing.
she's taking those to replace those bricks that Bryant, remember those two bricks, I think it was last
Mm-hmm.
season, that Brian took. I
Mm-hmm.
think she's going to take those to put them back, or somewhere down the line she's going to try to use those two bricks to set up T.
I was thinking more of the latter. She's gonna use those two bricks to set up T
Yeah,
because they have some type of connection. You know, her and Detective Brian. Like first, I was like, this don't make any sense. What she plan on going on the streets and bubble? Like, what does she plan on doing with it? Like, what does she
right.
plan on doing? This doesn't
Right.
make any sense. But when I thought about it more and more, I was like, nah, they about to get ready to try to plant this.
Yeah. That was the same thing. Yeah, I think it's one
Yeah.
of the two things. But I'm like you, Jack. I'm leaning more towards like she's going to use that somehow, some way to try to set up T to take him down. Because now she's like Bryant, is still hell bent on taking down Meech and T and the whole BMF squad.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have T back at the record store with the BMF Detroit, and he tells all of them that they're no longer going to be meeting up in the record store anymore. Their new headquarters will now be a restaurant that T just purchased, and you know they're celebrating whatnot. They all think that T was the one who took out Saint, which we all know he didn't. So they're giving him his props. You know, like you did it, you got the street cred, etc., whatever.
And this look tells me a lot. I think this is going to come back to haunt Big T somehow, some way because of this look. It was kind of a like, I got you look, whatever. But why mention it again? I think it's going to come back in. I think it's going to come back and bite, and bite T. I never ate the rooster tail. I never ate the rooster tail. But I heard it was way, way too expensive for me. I promised the rooster tail, but they do definitely had calamari there. But anyway, but I think this conversation, or I think this scene at some point
Mhm.
is gonna come back up, and they're gonna find out that somebody else is gonna find out that T ain't make that move, that somebody else made that move for him,
Yeah, and this
and they're
might
gonna
be this.
question him.
Yeah, I didn't even look at that. I just looked at it as it was Sterl giving him a head nod. Like, see, they don't need to know that you ain't get your hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like you the boss. But now that you said that, you know what? You probably right, and that's probably how we're gonna end up losing Sterl. Sterl might not make it out this season because they're gonna end up finding out that Sterl was the actual one who took him out. Maybe somebody from Sterl's camp is gonna be the ones that run their mouth, and like you
Hmm.
said, they all gonna find out that T wasn't the actual one that pulled
Yeah,
the
T
trigger.
wasn't the shooter. Yeah,
Yeah, that
and
T
then T
wasn't the
will have to
shooter.
prove himself somehow, some way. Like T ain't the
Yep,
shooter.
yep, that T's not the shooter. So we got T on the phone here with none other than Meech, and he tells Meech, like, hey, you still trying to run things here. You supposed to be in Atlanta, him finding out the whole thing about Sterl and doing that and whatnot. And Meech tells him about, the highways are wide open down here. They're accessible to almost every big city, Texas, St. Louis, all that different stuff. And this is how they're going to make their moves going forward, which is hopping on those highways down there and flooding the market out with their work and whatnot. And T just, casually agrees, whatnot. So then here rolls over to T Stacks, Duffy, and Diesel. Try to, I forgot the club name. They try to run up in the club or whatnot, and they get turned down and say that they cannot come in. And the
They're trying to go
head
see
of,
Glock.
I thought they were just going to the club.
I think they was trying. No, they was trying to see. They was trying to see Glock. They was just going to the club because at first it was like when they had the conversation when they seemed like they was back at
Oh, that's right, at
um
Duffy spot. That's right.
yeah, Duffy spot, and they was
That's right.
like, well, they was like, well, we're gonna go to this club, that Glock's gonna be there, and maybe we can. And he was trying to line something up with Glock, who I don't think we've seen this episode. And he was trying to line something with MK's. And he was like, "So you know, some the enemy of my enemies
Yeah,
is a friend of mine, type stuff." He was like, "I'm just on this by any means necessary." So they did come there with they were just going to the club, but they did definitely come there with an agenda to actually sit down and holler at Glock. He was trying to get Glock and the MKs together to go against Remy, so they could move Remy.
yeah. So my only question is from this scene right here. We all know that this is Glock. This is
That is
this
Glock.
from. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm like 99% sure. Like this is Glock, who is the head
Okay,
of the MKs. But I was lost because when Meech said, "Well, tell him to come out here," I'm thinking like, "Yo, do they even? Maybe they don't know what Glock looks like."
that's what I'm thinking. Cause I'm like, I don't think we saw him. Like, I don't think they actually identified who Glock was,
Yeah,
but it could be.
but I want. I'm like, man, I'm like 99% sure. I got that 1%. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm almost sure like this is Glock. I'm almost sure like this is Glock. But Glock tells them, y'all ain't running around here. Get to stepping. Y'all not coming in here. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot. We ain't even got nothing to talk about. So after they walk off, Remy Ransom pulls up on them once again and brings out none other than their boy Dice, who has now been unalive, and he tells them, tells Meech, you need to go on back up top, up to the north, shovel some snow. Like, if not, you know what I'm saying? Because we're just going to keep sending your crew home in body bags. So I was lost because I was like, if Remy Ransom getting all this money too, like, but I don't know. I was like, that's the call you got, bro? Like,
Remy Manson paying everybody rent, mortgage, and everything else. He making sure everybody else around him is good. So I said the exact same thing. Like, dude, is that a Caprice Classic that you just write? A dusty Caprice Classic. Like, it ain't even clean, bro. But I'm looking at it as Remy Ransom is just one of those people that just want to. He's gonna make sure that everybody benefits off what he's doing, and this is why he drive that car that he drive.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I ain't even think about it from that way.
Yeah.
Okay, for whatever reason, joint don't want to keep going, but so that is the end of the episode. I'm not sure what's happening. We had more slides after this to get into the next episode, but for whatever reason they don't pop up. But it don't matter. We keep moving. So episode 2, we are going to get introduced to a new character. If you saw from the preview, who is none other than Ren King. She is a new character who is going to be based out of Detroit. Not sure what her character is, but we can see that she has some type of meeting with T and basically calls BMF snakes or something. So maybe she has some backstory that we're going to end up finding out about and whatnot. So I don't think there was anybody else in that. I don't think there was anybody else in that
I
was a
don't think
new
so either.
character that was in that trailer that we hadn't seen before. I believe it was just the Ring King. She was new that we had not seen before. Um, we also saw in that same trailer, um, T and his crew are meeting up with somebody else. So I'm guessing maybe this is another crew he's going to try to put on, try to work something out, or maybe that could be um, people from Saints Camp that's meeting up with him to try to figure out, the whole situation and everything, with Saint being taken out. We also saw in the trailer Meech getting, getting shot at, they was trying to take him out. So not sure who that could possibly be because he got multiple people trying to take him out.
Try to take it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably guess. I'm gonna probably guess the MKs more than likely. It's probably gonna be the MKs or whatnot. Because if I remember, I think they're one of the guys that was unalived in the house in the trailer. It looked like a Haitian guy. And then of course we also saw that Detective Jen and Amberson are watching T as they were taking pictures of him outside of his restaurant. So I don't know about you, but I am anxious to see episode 2, see what we got kicked off for this season. I'm definitely interested in seeing more about this Ren King character. I'm trying to see like what's her whole goal. I guess maybe she's just going to be the villain for T in Detroit, while Meech got several villains down in Atlanta versus him. I'm not sure, but what predictions you got for the next episode?
I'm kind of like you. I just want to see what's gonna happen for the next episode. I think Meech is gonna try to make more connections. To try to iron this Atlanta thing out. Of course, we know eventually he does because we already know how the story ends.
Hmm.
But I'm just trying to see how. I guess my biggest attraction to the whole BMF for the old BMF series is comparing and contrasting what happened to
Yeah,
versus what they showing us and getting a little bit more insight
yeah,
to watching it actually all play out on there.
yeah.
I do expect I expect something big is going to happen this season. Like I said, I don't really think necessarily Two Chains is going to make it out
Hmm.
of this season, or Stacks rather. I don't think he's going to make it out of this season. Hell, I'm not even sure how many times we're actually going to see Green throughout the
Yeah,
throughout the episode. What roles is he going to play? But I definitely want to see how he goes too and laundering his money. I want to see at some point when Southwest T decides that he's going to leave Detroit. Um, Next episode should be interesting. It should
yeah.
be really really interesting.
Should be, yeah. I agree with you. It should be very, very interesting. As I agree with you on that. Please make sure like, subscribe. Um, you know, drop your comments down below. Let us know what y'all think
Please do.
is going to happen on the second episode. Also, make sure you turn your notifications on, as we will be dropping a episode 2 prediction sometime this week. So we will be back again with y'all next week for episode 2.